In this edition of the Global Dream Circles podcast, I have the privilege of speaking with Pat Noone. Pat is a County Galway farmer who tends more than land and livestock on this beautiful farm in which his family has lived for 9 generations. Pat's dream is to build an eco-friendly healing center for respite and rejuvenation, as well as to keep the living lore alive through the next generations. The lore of fairies and the original peace-loving inhabitants of the Emerald Isle, the Tuatha Dé Danann. On this tour, you'll see what are known as fairy trees, such as hawthorn and ash, even a 1,000-year-old ash tree. You'll see sacred standing stones, one associated with fertility, and a burial mound at least as old as Newgrange, under which are the remains of a female chieftain. The farm holds stories of enchanted sightings and visions, not only by Pat's family, but also his many visitors over the years. And so now, you are invited to open your heart to the imaginal realm, to step through the veil of time and space, and to see what is in the dream time for you. Benachti, August Gra, blessings and love to you all.
But we'll have a look at these and then we'll walk up and we'll go across the rail where I have a cairn, I have an ancient hill as old as Newgrange, and I have a fairy float, a few different things, guys. And please do ask me any questions you want. And this is all built on a big energy line here. This is why these things were put here. It wasn't for the sake of doing it. There was no plan and permission. People just knew that they got diviners in, like myself, energy people, and I found out the whole thing was full of energy lines. I do a little bit of camping there as well for shamanic people and things like that. I don't commercially do it, I just do commercial, just for people, mostly people that comes like yourselves, you know. One example, a guy out the road burning down one there, we'll go for 2021-22 in June, and he's dead and buried now, and he was healthier than us. So these trees, I suppose the most famous, the famous incident in the world was the Kennedys of America, the president's people. Before they went to America, they cleared fairy trees off their land, and had an hour's look ever since. They could never get going. That's the most famous one, but there is all around this area people that has interfered with them, has brought bad luck on themselves. So.
Are they cutting down a few in Tipperary to do some building?
I don't listen to the news anymore, but I hear people that comes into me. I don't bother news anymore. I have no real interest in. So long as this field is okay and the fairies is happy, that's all I'm worried about, my livestock. My days of worrying about world politics is truly well over. I have no interest in it anymore, whatsoever, none whatsoever, because politicians that clog up your head with fudge and rubbish. There's a lot of things happening in Ireland at the present minute. There's a lot of things happening worldwide. There's a big upheaval in humanity, and there's an awful lot of unease. The spirituality is gone out of humanity. I suppose in Ireland we can say, oh yeah, the same guys that broke the church in Ireland, good or bad, it doesn't make any difference to us whether it was good or bad, but people got great spirituality, and they might even talk to the preacher that was in the altar, but they got great spirituality. The likes of RT and these people just stayed at them and broke them. Now they're coming after the people of the land the same way. They're coming after the ordinary spiritual farming man. They're grinding him down into the ground. They're manifesting it. So if spirituality goes out of us as humans, we become dangerous animals. We become very, very dangerous animals. We become cold. we become thoughtless. We can't think for ourselves. If you can't think for yourself, you're at nothing, guys. So I think what I'm at here is a big it's a big spiritual thing. It has nothing to, all religious people comes here from all sorts of religious groupings and backgrounds, and every one of them is coming for the one thing, the spirituality and the magic. It's all about the magic. Everyone is looking for magic. Anyone that's not looking for magic is not living. They're not living. They're not living. But we'll go up here onto this hill here, guys. This hill is as old as Newgrange. There's a tunnel on this that collapsed, and then we'll go up onto the cairn in a few seconds. This used to light up on the longest day of the year with the sun. And the sun would come like Newgrange. Newgrange was like this before they excavated and put it back together. This hill is as old as Newgrange.
Oh, there's only dragon fly.
Any questions?
I've got a question. So you know the stories about the Tuatha Dé Danann?
Yes.
And there was this idea that when the Milesians came in,
Right.
rather than fight, because they were peaceable, that they turned sideways and went into the light. What do you think that means?
They went into higher vibrations. They're actually all around us here, but you can't see them. Higher vibrations.
In a practical sense, how would you interpret that? Of course, my left brain goes, does that mean they just sort of stood there and allowed themselves to be slaughtered? Or did they quite literally disappear, dematerialize?
Disappeared, and they brought the magic with them into the hills. And ever since we're looking for them. They brought two things with them. They brought magic and medicine. And ever since, we're looking for that.
Yeah.
That is one thing we're looking for. In the olden days, people would call our sort of people the healers of the old Celtic healers and the old land healers and that. They would call us fairy doctors, fairy whisperers. So there's some connection there. We don't know what it is. But I suppose in 2018 I had a visit from one of the representatives of the Royals in England came here. So they all those people is into magic. They're all into, they never lost it. You ordinary citizens did. So they held on to it. And they came here, stayed here a few days with me. So I have all sorts of people coming here, and it's all about the magic. Everything about the Irish today, we can disappear into the hills as well. We have done it fighting the English for 800 years. We were the first people to invent guerrilla warfare. The Irish. We disappeared. We'd fight during the day, at night, disappear during the day into the hills, disappear. So the Irish is great people to disappear, and we're great people to hide things. Most Irish people hide things, and we can never find where we hide them. We forget.
It's true.
We forget.
Keep different.
Yeah, we forget where we. We don't know we do these things. We don't know we do it. I had an incident myself. I was in Germany a few years ago, and we were staying in a hotel at a wedding, and I had my passport. So I took out my passport, and I took out a picture frame and cut it out and put it in behind the picture and hung it back up in the hallway. And of course, rushing in the morning, forgot my passport, landed at the airport, put behind, oh no, fucking passport. But there was a few people stayed behind. They rang the hotel to find the passport, and they couldn't find it. I'd have hid that well. So that we are very good at hiding things, the Irish. We are probably the greatest people in the world, and we hide language and people as well. We can sweep it under the carpet. You haven't heard of sweep under the carpet? That's us. If you don't want to be here, we'll sweep it under the carpet. We hide things. Any other questions?
I just asked about that kid by lightning.
No. No. What they do is they fall over, like this one behind you here for an example, and 3 shoots will come up at the bottom and they'll grow again. It's called the eternal tree of Ireland, like the yew tree. You see, they will come up and they'll grow different directions. First, I'd hope that they'd have great health. That's all I'd really hope for, great health. They have the knowledge of the land. They might have hid it for a while in teenage years, but it will come back to them. I hope that they will carry on the tradition here of the fairies and the fairy culture. And I suppose that's why my real intention is to do up this as a healing house and have some form of income coming into them that would give them a boost to keep them here. And as well as the love of it, you can't go to Tesco's and tell the guy in the till about the fairies if you don't have money. So to keep them here, they need an income, plus the fact to give them a bit of happiness on it. And they will have that if this manifests into a healing house and a healing area for people to come. I think we're getting bigger at this as it is. So that'd be my hope, is that someone would do this up as a thank you for a healing or something like that.
That would be beautiful. Now, last question. Have you ever, or what's a memorable dream or ashling that's come over you here from the land?
I suppose the most memorable dreams I have is of happiness, in a place of great happiness that you mightn't even recognise. Middle Earth, fairyland, the smell of the meadows, the trickling of the water, the birds singing, the fish jumping out for a fly, to hear the blackbird take a snail out of his shell, tapping it on a stone. Very small things like that. Them is the dreams I'd have here. The dreams of happiness, the dreams of what everyone wants, Middle Earth.
So there we have it, folks, the importance of everyday magic, living in right relationship with the land and the spirits of the land. Pat also practices an old form of healing called the 9 irons. If you would like to experience the energies there on Pat's fairy farm, the 9 irons, or if you know of anyone who may be interested in supporting the ongoing generational healing and connection to the land and the lore there in County Galway, please get in touch with Pat. You'll find his contact details below. What an honor it was to be on the land there with the goddess herself. A huge thanks to Pat and his wife, Evelyn, for inviting us onto the land, into their home, sharing a cup of tea with us. If anything you have heard or seen today has inspired you, take it to heart and share it with others. Blessings and love.